Terawan Saranai. Since there was, someone was not there at the puja, could not observe the precepts, so let's observe the 5 precepts again. Please recite Namo Tassa 3 times. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Saranāgamaṇaṃ sampunnaṃ, Pānātipātā vēramaṇī sikkāpadaṃ samādhiyāmi, Adinādānā vēramaṇī sikkāpadaṃ samādhiyāmi, Kāmesu miccācārā vēramaṇī sikkāpadaṃ samādhiyāmi, Musāvādā vēramaṇī sikkāpadaṃ samādhiyāmi, Surāmeraya majjapamādaṭṭhānā vēramaṇī sikkāpadaṃ samādhiyāmi, Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammaṃ sādhukaṃ surakkitaṃ kattvā appamādena sampādetabbhaṃ, Samantā cakkavālesu atrā gaccantu devatā, Saddhammaṃ munirājassa sunantu sagga mokkadaṃ, Dhammasavana kālo ayam badantā, Dhammasavana kālo ayam badantā, Dhammasavana kālo ayam badantā. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa, Dullabhaṃ ca manussataṃ buddhopādo ca dullabhā, Dullabhā khana sampatti saddhammo parama dullabhoti. All right. In this evening, you have gathered here to participate in this Dhamma sermon to listen to some teachings taught by the Buddha. And this is going to be the last sermon in this period of rainy retreat. You participated some other sermons, and this is the last one. And it is a privilege to conduct this sermon as the last sermon in this Vasana season. And hence I quoted one of the stanzas taught by the Buddha. It is a very important and special stanza. In this stanza, the Buddha teaches very important three things. Buddha says, there are three rare things happen in this world. What are those three things? Really, really rare to happen. The first one is dullabhancha manussattam. Being born as a human being, to have this human life, it is a rare thing. Dullabhancha. Dullabha means it is very rare. That is the first thing. Then the second thing is buddhopadocha dullabha. Appearance of the Buddha is also very, very rare. Very, very rare. That is the second thing. And the third thing, which is rare, dullabha kana sampatti, which means having an opportunity to perform some wholesome deeds and being able to live this life consciously at this moment is very, very rare. Saddhammo paramadullabho. The fourth thing is listening to the teachings of the Buddha is also very rare. Of course, since the appearance of the Buddha is very rare, his teachings also should be rare. So these are the four things, as the Buddha teaches, rare things, very, very rare things. And if we have something rare and valuable that we don't get always, then how do we deal with them? What do we do with them? Let's say there are certain valuable material things in this world. For example, certain gems, certain minerals, and there are so many other things. They are very rare and very difficult to be found. Then what happens? Then they become very expensive. Very, very expensive. Let's say a small piece of diamond. How much does it cost? It costs a lot. It costs a lot. Why? Because of its rareness and also because of its qualities. Because of its rareness and because of its qualities, it is very expensive. That is a worldly simile I took here. And in the same way, these four things, the rare things, are also should be considered in that manner. If we have something very rare and very difficult to be found, then we don't take them for granted. We don't waste them. We don't lose them. We don't put them just anyhow without caring anywhere. We take care of them very well and giving the proper value. In the same way, when we have these four things, four rare things in our hands, how should we look at them? How should we look at them? we should understand they are really, really worthy and really, really valuable, and therefore we should take care of them very well. Take care of them very well. For example, we all have this precious, rare, and valuable human life. Therefore, we are very lucky. We have got that rare thing. Then the second thing, this is a time period of Buddha. His dispensation is alive, and it is the period of the Buddha Gautama. Therefore, not only the human life we have this human life in the time period of a Buddha. That is very important. So therefore, we are blessed with the second factor as well. And the third one, Dullabhakana Sampatti, we are alive at this moment. We are alive at this moment. Therefore, we should be grateful and we should be thankful that we are alive. We are not sure what is going to happen next. Therefore, yes, we should understand that we are really blessed to be alive at this moment. And Saddhammo Paramadullapo. We also have lots of opportunities to learn the teachings of the Buddha, to listen to the teachings of the Buddha. And therefore, we are blessed with all these 4 rare things in one package. In one package. Sometimes, some may have human lives, but they don't have other things, isn't that so? And sometimes there may be some human beings who don't even know the name of the Buddha. But we are so blessed to have these 4 things, 4 rare things in one package. Therefore, it is a very important thing to think about. It is a very important opportunity to consider, to consider. And though we have these rare things in our hands, do really people understand that we have these rare things? For example, if you have something valuable, yes, we don't waste them. We don't let them to be destroyed or lost. And according to the Buddha's teaching, the human life is a rare thing, and we all have that rare human life. But do we really care about it? Do we really try to save this human life? Protect this human life? That is a question to ask. That is a question to ask. When we see things in the world, it seems most of the human beings are running towards the lower realms, running towards those purgatory status, which means they don't take care of themselves. They don't take care of this precious human life. That is why they are trying to go to from brightness to darkness. Is it a wise decision if you have lots of light, lots of brightness, and go to the darkness? It is not a wise decision. If you have brightness, you should try to keep it, and you should try to make it more brighter. Make it more bright. And being in the brightness, if you decide to go to darkness, that is not a wise decision that human beings should take. That is not a wise decision. But when we see things, observe things of human beings in this world, it seems they don't try to save this human life. Of course, in worldly sense, they may try to save their lives using various techniques, following various methods, using these technological gadgets and all those things. Yes, that is in this life. What about after this life? What about after this life? Yes, that is something to think about. That is something to think about. Therefore, it seems like people are running towards the lower realm. Running towards the lower realm without understanding how important this human life is. How important this human life is. Therefore, we always should have this important teaching in our mind. I have this rare human life. Therefore, I should not do anything that destroy the worthiness of this life, this precious life, mentally, verbally, or physically. I should try my best to save this life here and hereafter. Here and hereafter. That is how we think about this life. Why do we have to think like that? It is because the Buddha says, if someone falls into lower realms, purgatory status, it is very difficult to come back. It is very difficult to come back. That is the problem. Just like being in the brightness, if you go to darkness, it is very difficult to find the light again. Find the light again. You may face lots of accidents in that darkness, in that dark room. Similarly, if you fall into the purgatory status, then it is really difficult to come back. Then monks asked from the Buddha, Venerable Sir, how difficult it is to come back to the human life if someone falls into such purgatory status. Then Buddha says, it is very, very difficult. Then monks asked, Venerable Sir, can you explain it with some similes? Then Buddha says, yes, we can explain, we can understand it with some similes. Buddha took some sand from the ground onto the nail tip, this thumbnail tip. And having shown that little sand on the nail tip, Buddha asked monks, what do you think? Of course, it is an obvious question. What do you think? Where do you see more sand? On my nail or on the earth? Then monks replied, of course, Venerable Sir, there are plenty of sand, lots of soil on this earth compared with the soil, the sand you have on your nail tip. Then Buddha says, similarly, the sand that I have on my nail tip is like those who have opportunities to come to human life. All the other sand, other soil on the ground is like beings who fall into other realms, lower realms. Yes, it seems so when we just look around. Do we see more human beings or more animal beings? Of course, more animal beings, isn't that so? Recently I heard here, some animals' population is more than human beings. What were they? Kangaroos or camels? I don't know. I can't remember, but I heard so. It is true. That is just one kind of animal. Then what about the other species? If you just observe one colony of ants, how many ants do you find there? Maybe millions of them in just one colony of ants. Then what about the other animal beings? There may be some animal beings even have not been recognized. Then what about if you count the fish in the ocean? Would you get the number? I don't think so. So it is just a one realm. It is just a one realm among 31 realms where beings get reborn. It is just one realm. Then what about if you go to the other realms? There are 4 lower realms, then human realm, 4 lower realms, then human realm, then 6 divine realms, and 20 of Brahma realms. When you compare human realm with other realms, human beings are really, really less. But yes, we still complain, wow, there are lots of human beings, 8 billion plus human beings in this world. The world cannot bear it, resources are not enough. Lots of problems are going on. Lots of problems, lots of questions being raised. But if you think about the other beings, it is just a tiny bit of lives, just like that little sand on the Buddha's thumbnail. So that is one simile Buddha gave to the monks to understand how rare this human life is. Then another time, Buddha gave another simile. In those days, farmers used buffaloes or cow to plow the ground before farming, before sowing seed. And then there is one object, we can say a plow to flip the ground, soil, break the soil. Then it is made of wood. And in that object, tool, there is a pole. In that pole, there are holes. To make it fixed. Then, after using for some time, this may be broken. Then after that, the farmer would throw it away because farmer cannot use it. So, when it rains, what happened? These 2 pieces would flow to the rivers, water streams, rivers, then eventually end up in the ocean. And we are not sure these 2 pieces would go to the ocean from the same river or different ones. We are not sure. Then, when these 2 pieces go to the ocean, then they may be floating in the ocean with the waves. And then there is a turtle in the ocean that comes out from the ocean 100 years' time. 100 years' time. Then this turtle is also a blind one. His one eye is spoiled. Only can see with just one eye. Then when it comes out from the ocean, after 100 years' time, at that time, there is something happens. What is that? Those 2 pieces of that plow may come together, which were floating in the ocean, and would fix that circle, the hole. Having joined these 2 pieces, then they may form that circle again. Then at that time, that turtle, the blind turtle, comes out and put his head through that little circle. Do you understand the simile? Yes. Then how rare it is? If it were to happen, how rare it is? Then monks said, Venerable Sir, it is very, very rare. It is very, very rare. Then Buddha said, yes, it is rare, but yet even that can be happened. Even that can be happen. But if someone fall into the purgatory status, apayas, coming out from those purgatory status is more rarer than that incident. That incident. So that is how it is. Therefore, we have been to all those places plenty of times. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about that. We have been to all the apayas, all the divine realms, all the Brahmavas. We have been to all over. So, this time, it is a great opportunity. Having escaped all those places, now we have this precious human life. And then, when we have this life, this precious one, rare one, then do we really give enough value to it? Do we really take care of it? That is the question we should ask from oneself. That is the question we should ask from oneself. If we ask the question from ourselves, then yes, we can have a determination. Okay, I'm going to take care of this life and I'm going to save my life without falling into lower realms, without letting into fall into lower realms after this life. That is why it is important to understand the value of this life and take care of this life without doing unwholesome, unethical, ungenerous deeds, actions. That is the important thing to think about. And then the second one is Buddhopadocha dullabha. Appearance of the Buddha is rare. The Buddha Gautama appeared now about 2,500 years ago, but still we are lucky because his dispensation is alive. And is this the only time we met a Buddha in this journey of samsara? Is this the first time? What do you think? This is not the first time. This is not the first time. You can see here 28 of Buddhas. And there had been so many, more than that. This is just 28. But there had been lots of them. 100,000s of Buddhas had been in the past. And we, for sure, have met so many Buddhas. Even this Buddha Gautama, we might have met him. We are not sure. We might have. But then why are we still roaming? That is the question. Why are we still circling here and there? It is because we have not taken these rare opportunities wisely. We have not made use of these rare opportunities wisely. Therefore, we are still roaming. Therefore, we are still wandering. And then we should understand, okay, I may have met lots of Buddhas in the past as well. Now, in this life also, I have this opportunity. And even in this life, I don't understand this valuable opportunity and just ruin myself doing all the unwholesome things. Then, am I doing something worthy to this precious life? I'm not doing something worthy to this precious life if we don't understand these valuable opportunities. Buddhas usually appear in eons of time. not just thousands years or like that, or millions years, eons of time. Eon is we cannot say with a number. That is what eon means. Then to understand this eon, Buddha gave some similes as well. When monks asked, can you explain how long this eon is? Then they asked from the Buddha. Then Buddha gave these similes. Then asked monks, imagine there is a huge tank. It is tall several kilometers and wide several kilometers. It is a square tank. And we put some mustard seed into that tank. We know mustard seeds are really, really small one. And how many mustard seed can fit in that huge tank? We cannot say with the numbers. Then Buddha says, then there is a person who takes one mustard seed out of that tank, not every day, 100 years, just once, 100 years time. Then how long would it take to finish all the mustard seed in that tank? We cannot imagine. That is really, really long. Then Buddha says, that is the simile I can give to you to understand how long this eon is. How long this eon is. That is very long, really long. And in this long journey, we have met lots of Buddhas, and we have had lots of human lives, divine lives, lives in lower realms, in apayas. We have had all those things. The problem is, even though we have met the Buddhas, we didn't think, okay, this is a rare opportunity, therefore I must work hard to end this journey. Work hard to overcome suffering. Work hard to stop this roaming, endless roaming. That is the problem. Therefore, we are roaming in this samsaric journey without being able to stop it. And in this time, we have the opportunity to understand it. And yet, do we really think about it? Do we really want to overcome this endless journey? That is the situation here. That is the problem here. And on another occasion, the Buddha says, to understand how long this samsara is, one person has cried for another person. Another person is his own mother or father throughout this samsaric time. And this person has cried and spread the tear more than the great ocean. More than the great ocean. For the same person. That means we have met the same person in the samsaric journey as the mother, as the father, as children, as relatives, friends, and so on, again and again and again and again. To that happen, that means the samsaric journey is very, very long. Very, very long. If you go on the same routing, then you may meet the same things again and again and again. Isn't that so? In the same way, when we roam in the samsaric journey, we meet the same people, same beings, again and again and again. And when they die, we have spread, we cry and shed the tears more than the water in the ocean. Because the samsaric journey is so long. So long. And we have been in this samsaric journey that long. And do we still have a determination to end this? Overcome this? That is something we got to ask. And that is the second rare thing, appearance of the Buddha. That is the second rare thing. Then the next one is opportunities to perform wholesome deeds. That means being alive, basically. Being alive. If you are alive at this moment, you should be happy about it. At this moment, how many human beings are dying around the world? At this moment, how many? Many human beings are dying. And we are so blessed, we are still alive and able to listen to this sermon, able to listen to the teachings of the Buddha, while so many people are dying all around this world. And you have spent years of your lives. Children have spent less lives. Adults have spent more lives. And still you all are alive. We all are alive. Therefore, we are so lucky. Why? Those who are going to come to this human world, were going to come to human world, they died in the mother's womb. How many? Every day, lots of them. In the process of giving birth, how many babies would die every day? Just after giving birth, within few seconds, few minutes, 1 hour, how many would die? So many. Within few days, 1 week, few months, how many would die? So many. Within few years, in their young age, how many children would die all around the world? So many. As youth, every day, how many youth, boys, girls, do die in this world? Adults, middle-aged people, old people, how many? Every day, lots of them do die. Yet, we are very lucky that we are still alive. We are still alive, and we have the greatest opportunity. Therefore, we should use that greatest opportunity to avoid unwholesomeness from our mind and try our best to perform something wholesome, even in the mind, mentally, verbally, or physically. We can do wholesome things. But most of the time, what do people do? Wholesome things or unwholesome things? What do we think most of the time? Generous things or greedy things? Kind things or hateful things? Jealousy things? Or to revenge? That is why. So what do we talk most of the time? Do we talk kind words, truthful words, or vulgar words, meaningless talks? What do we talk most of the time? Do we talk the truth most of the time? Do we talk lovely, kind words most of the time, or otherwise? Then what about physical actions? Physical actions. Do we do the positive side or the negative side? That is the problem. That is the problem. That is why the Buddha says, those who have human lives, most of them after death go to the lower realm. Only less come back to the human realm or divine realms. Because most of the time, human beings, they don't perform good things, wholesome things. They mostly performed unwholesome things mentally, verbally, and physically. That is why for us it is very important to listen to the teachings of the Buddha. That is why it is very important to follow the teachings of the Buddha, practice the teachings of the Buddha. When we listen to the teachings of the Buddha, when we practice the teachings of the Buddha, it helps to reduce the negative side and cultivate the positive side, the wholesome side. That is why we have great opportunities to save our lives being the followers of the Buddha, being the followers of the Buddha. Therefore, you should understand that this opportunity I have to live in this time, at this moment, is the greatest opportunity. Not the time you spent in the past, not the times that you are going to have in the future, but this time, this moment, this present moment is the best moment. Therefore, make use of it fully, wisely. So you don't have to be at the temple all the time. Wherever you are, you can use that time wisely. Just make sure that your mind is free from unwholesome thoughts, free from greediness, free from hatred, free from jealousy, free from revenge, free from lustful things. When you are skillful enough to maintain such a mentality, yes, you can talk lots of nice things because your mental roots are wholesome ones. When your mental roots, your intentions are good ones, wholesome ones, then your actions become wholesome, verbal and physical actions. If you have unwholesome mental roots, your verbal and physical actions become unwholesome as well. That is how it happens. Therefore, the best thing is to maintain mental wholesomeness. To maintain mental wholesomeness, we should be mindful. If you are just daydreaming without being able to notice what is going on in our mind, then we don't know what is going on. Just things appear in the mind, and as kind of set up robotics, we just like dream walking. We are not sure what we are doing because things that just appear in the mind, and we have no control over them. We just float here and there. When you have mindfulness, then what happens? You know what is going on in the mind, and then you know how to differentiate them, how to select them, how to neglect them, how to promote them, how to de-promote them. Therefore, being mindful on what is going on in the mind is very important. That is meditation. That is meditation. Always you don't have to go to a corner and sit down over there and spend hours having closed your eyes. Yes, that is one type of meditation. But while you are doing things, activities in everyday life, if you know what is going on in your mind, if you know what wholesome things are in the mind or unwholesome things are in the mind, then that is meditation. That is meditation. That means you are able to recognize your wholesome side and unwholesome side. When you recognize unwholesome side, from the root, you should be able to neglect it. Our problem is, when we have something unwholesome in the mind, we don't try to uproot them, but we try to put more water more soil. Okay, grow well, grow healthily, grow strongly. This is what we do most of the time. We take care of them very well. If something wholesome comes to the mind, just close the door. If something wholesome appears in the mind, okay, let's neglect it. Let's say if you have some thoughts to do something wholesome, something good, just intentionally you neglect it. Intentionally you neglect it, ignore it, and run towards the lower realm. Okay, that side is my goal. My winning line is in the hell realm. Therefore, let's run towards that side. Let's ignore the wholesome thoughts. Let's ignore the wholesome mental roots. I don't want to develop them. I don't want to encourage them to appear more and more and more in the mind. Instead, let's promote the negative things. Let's promote the unwholesome things. Let's promote all the unwholesome things, and let grow something unuseful. Instead, we should understand, okay, wholesome things also appear in the same mind, unwholesome things also appear in the same mind, just like useful traits or plants appear in the same soil, unhealthy or unuseful, they also appear in the same soil. We should be able to understand, recognize what are the good plants and what are the unuseful plants. That is what we should understand. Therefore, to understand that this opportunity is the time. This time is the opportunity. This moment is the opportunity. If you miss this moment, it is gone. It is gone. If it is gone, you add something to your karmic energy. Therefore, at this moment, if you can add something wholesome, then that is what we should do. As we know the value of these important things. Value of these important things. Then what about the fourth rare thing? Opportunity to listen to the sermons or learn the teachings of the Buddha. Unlike in the past, nowadays we have lots of opportunities, access to the teachings of the Buddha. It is available everywhere. It is available everywhere. In various forms, in various languages. Whatever preferred languages, you can learn them. If you can learn a little teaching of the Buddha every day, it promotes you to be wholesome, do wholesome every day. If you can start the day with something wholesome thoughts, some wholesome teachings of the Buddha, then that day is going to be a pleasant day. But most of the time, how do we start our day? How do we continue our days? Not in the wholesome way, but in other ways. Therefore, every day we must use to learn something. Buddha's teaching. We learn lots of things. We learn various things. We sit for various exams. We pass various exams, achieve various goals in lives, high status in the society, finding good jobs and earning good money and everything. It is all right. It is nothing. It is not something bad. But all those things are just for this life. All those things are just for this life. But we must understand this is not the only life we are going to have. You can make it. This is the only life. If you work hard enough. If you work hard enough. If you know that my working ability is not that strong enough, then at least we must try to save this life without falling into lower realms. Without falling lower realms. That is the important thing to think about here. And then, if we don't learn the teachings of the Buddha and practice the teachings of the Buddha, then there is a problem. We can see lots of differences. Once one person came to the Buddha and he asked from the Buddha, Venerable Sir, among these human beings, I see lots of differences among them. All the human beings are not the same. I see lots of differences. What made them different from each other? That was the question he asked from the Buddha. Then Buddha said, it is their own karma. It is their own karma made them different from each other. Then Buddha gave a kind of list that they did to deserve such differences. Then sometimes human beings may have angry thoughts, hateful thoughts, and having such thoughts, they may act verbally or physically. Having acted verbally and physically or mentally, having angry thoughts, then they may be reborn in lower realms, hell realm. If not, then they may come to human realm. Having come to the human realm, then they become very unpleasant, really unpleasant to see. Why? It is because they practice anger, too much anger. Very hot-tempered people. That is one reason. Therefore, we should avoid being angry. Anger may appear, but if we know that anger appears in the mind, then we should stop it from the beginning. If we want to put more water, more soil into it, then it may grow stronger and higher. Then later it becomes a difficult thing. And if you want to uproot it, then it becomes a difficult thing. Therefore, that is one cause. And then sometimes there are other human beings, they are so greedy. They are so greedy and they practice greediness. As a result of such practices, they may fall into lower realms and they may suffer over there. In case if they not fall into lower realms but come to the human realms, then what happens? Then they have to go through lots of difficulties without being able to find their own basic needs, food, a place to live, something like that. So therefore, whenever greedy thoughts come to the mind, you should not promote those greedy thoughts. Instead, we should practice and promote generous thoughts. How do we can recognize that? We only can recognize that if we are mindful. On what is going on in our mind. If we are not mindful, then we don't know what is going on. We cannot differentiate them. That is also another thing to think about. Then sometimes, having met Sramanas and Brahmanas, that means religious people, clergy, some people may ask, Venerable Sir, what is wholesome? Venerable Sir, what is unwholesome? And having asked, then they may learn what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. But there may be some others, they may not ask such questions. It is not important for them to know what is wholesome, what is unwholesome, what is evil, what is not evil, such things. When they don't ask such things, then they fall into lower realms because they don't know what is wholesome and unwholesome. As the result of that, they may do the unwholesome things, and as the result of that, they may fall into lower realms. In case if they escape the lower realms and come to the human realm, then they become very unwise, not able to understand anything, kind of foolish. Why? They are not willing to learn wholesome things. They are not willing to learn those kind of things, the teachings of the Buddha and so on. So this is also something to understand. And there may be some people, of course there is teaching of the Buddha that we should respect whom should be respected. We should respect whom should be respected. We can respect others in various ways, using various bodily gestures and postures, and maybe by offering a seat, or maybe by standing up. There are various ways we can show our respect to them. Then, having acted in that manner, having not acted in that manner, then they may fall into lower realms. In case if they come to human life, they may not earn any respect in the society. They may get lots of blames, lots of criticisms. Nobody would appreciate. Sometimes they may say, okay, nobody can recognize how hard I am doing things. Nobody appreciate me. That kind of pain, that kind of sorrow, that kind of suffering they have to go through. Therefore, we also should respect whom should be respected. Respect whom should be respected. Verbally, we can show our respect. Physically, we can show our respect like that. This is also a very important thing to think about. So there are these kind of things Buddha mentioned, Buddha taught to him. Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutra, it is said. A small sutra on karma. Therefore, we should understand these things. We should learn this. How can we learn these things? We can learn these things only if we listen to the teachings of the Buddha. If we read the teachings of the Buddha, then there may be someone or some here who didn't know these things. Now you know these things. How did you now know these things? By listening to this sermon. So when you listen to sermons, when you read the teachings of the Buddha, you can always learn new things. You can always learn good things to make yourself safe, make your life safe here and hereafter. Therefore, this opportunity we should understand as a rare opportunity, because it is a time of the Buddha. It is the time that you have a human life, we have a human life, and at the same time, your sense doors are perfectly working. You can hear things, you can read things, you can understand things, you can talk. Therefore, you can listen to the teachings as well. Therefore, this opportunity is also a rare opportunity. So we must understand that we have these 4 rare opportunities in one package. Therefore, we all are so blessed. So blessed. We are blessed nothing because of any other things. It is because of your own karmic energy you have brought from your previous lives. It is because of your own karmic energy you have brought from your previous lives. So, continue practice good. Continue practice good. Learn more teachings. Learn more teachings of the Buddha and understand how your mind works. Understand what is wholesome, what is unwholesome. Avoid unwholesome things and promote wholesome things. Cultivate more wholesome things so you don't have to worry about this life or next life. If you do something unwholesome, you don't have to wait until the next life to suffer. In this life, at that moment, worries arise in your mind. Regret arise in the mind. Because of that regret, that worry, then there is going to have suffering, mental suffering, mental suffering. Therefore, always use this present moment as a wholesome moment, as a good moment. And then there would be less to worry. There would be less to worry. That is why these 4 things are really, really rare. And we should understand that they are rare, and not just rare, we all have these 4 rare things in our lives. Just like really, really valuable things you have gained, you have earned in your life. When you have gained something in your life with hard working, then you should give enough and proper value to it. That is the important thing. We should learn from these teachings you listen today. So having learned all those things, you can have a determination. Okay, I understand what is wholesome, I understand what is unwholesome. I also understand the 4 rare things, and I have these four rare things with me. Therefore, I'm a lucky person. It didn't happen just by chance. It has happened because of my own good deeds that I did in the past. Therefore, it is a good and wise decision to continue with the good practices in this life. So, in that way, you make your life safe here and hereafter. So, having learned all these teachings, having participated in this wholesome movement, wholesome sermon, we all have accumulated lots of merits. Now let us share these merits with the divine beings. We invited divine beings at the beginning of the sermon to listen to the sermon. May the divine beings rejoice in these wholesome practices, and may they improve, extend their divine pleasures and powers. In return, may they provide you all protection, guidance whenever it is needed, and may the divine beings attain the supreme bliss of Nirvana. Having these kind thoughts, let's say the Gatha to share merits with the divine beings. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu tvang sada. And let us think of the departed relatives as well. We all have departed relatives in our family lineages. May the departed relatives, if they are in need of receiving merits, may they receive these merits. Having received, go their way peacefully, happily, being reborn in pleasant abodes without falling into lower realms. Eventually, may they also be able to break through the circle of existence and attain the ultimate bliss of Nirvana. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. හොඳයි, අද දවසේ මේ ධර්ම දේශනා පින්කම ඉතින් කටින කණ්ඩායම නියෝජනය කරන පින්වතුන් තමයි දායකත්වයේ අරගෙන මේ වස්තු මාසෙම මේ පින්කම් බෙදාගෙන කටයුතු සිද්ධ කළා. ඉතින් අද මේ පින්කමේ මූලික දායකත්වයේ ධර්මෙන් කටයුතු කරන්නේ අපේ වින්දේ සේනාධීර මහත්මයා, නිල්මිනි සේනාධීර මහත්මිය, ඒ හිත මිතුරන් ආදිය සහ සම්බන්ධ කරගෙන, විශේෂම දරුවන් සම්බන්ධ කරගෙන පවුල්වල මව්දෙමව්පිය ආදීන්ට ආශිර්වාද කිරීම, පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කිරීම ආදී යහපත් අරමුණු ඇතුව. ඉතින් පින්කමට සම්බන්ධ වෙන අත්ංගේ නාම ලේඛනයක් සඳහන් කරලා තියෙනවා. වින්දේ මහත්මයා, නිල්මිනි මහත්මිය, තරණී දුව, අංජලී දුව, අනුජ පුතා, ඒ වගේම එලේන් පුතා නේද? දුව. ඉතින් ඒ පින්වත් පිරිස, ඒ වගේම විමල් කිරින්දේ මහත්මයා, පේශලා මහත්මිය, ඒ වගේම දරුවන් කිසල් පුතා, දිනාල් පුතා, ඒ වගේම මේ දෙමව්පියන් පද්මාරණතුංග, මෑණියන් නන්දසේන රණතුංග පියතුමා, ඉතින් ඒ පවුලේ පින්වත් පිරිස, ඒ වගේම සමන් ප්‍රනාන්දු මහත්මයා, බිම්සි ප්‍රනාන්දු මහත්මිය, දරුවන්, ගවිඳු පුතා, චමිති දුව, ඒ වගේම සෙනාරා දුව, ඒ වගේම රවි විජේසේකර මහත්මයා, ප්‍රියන්ති මහත්මිය, මෛත්‍රී පුතා නේද, දුව, ඒ වගේම විදුර පුතා, සහස් පුතා, ඒ වගේම හර්බි පෙරේරා මහත්මයා, ආශිනී පෙරේරා මහත්මිය, දරුවන් ශෂිනී, ඔෂිනී, ඒ වගේම දිනිති, ඒ වගේම ලලිතා මෑණියන්. ඉතින් ඒ පවුලේ පින්වත් පිරිස සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අනුර දොළමුල්ල මහත්මයා, මල්කානුන මහත්මිය, රිද්මී දුව, අනුජනා දුව, ඒ වගේම චන්න වැලිහිඳ මහත්මයා, බුද්ධිමා මහත්මිය, තිවිනි, තිසුනි, හිමන්ත, ඒ වගේම සායනේ කියන ඒ පවුලේ දරුවෝ ඇතුළු කරගෙන හැමදෙනාම, අනුර කුමාරසිංහ මහත්මයා, සුනීතා මහත්මිය, ඒ වගේම දරුවන් අනුජි, හියුමි, ඒ වගේම ජගත් ජයසේන මහත්මයා, අමිලා මහත්මිය, හේෂාන් පුතා, ඩයාන් පුතා. ඉතින් මේ හැමදෙනාම වගේම ඉතින් අනිත් මේ පින්කමට සම්බන්ධ වෙන පින්වත් හැමදෙනාම නම් සඳහන් කරන නොකරන සෑම දෙනාම මේ වටිනා පින්කමට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ආශිර්වාද ලබන්නට, පුණ්‍ය ශක්තියෙන් ලබා ගන්නට කටයුතු කළා. ලබාගත් මේ පුණ්‍ය ශක්තියන්ගේ බලයෙන් ඔබ හැමදෙනාටම කායිකව, මානසිකව නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවයෙන්, සුවපත් භාවයෙන් කටයුතු කරන්නට හැමදෙනාටම ආශිර්වාද වේවා. දීර්ඝායු සම්පන්නියෙන් සලසා ගන්න ආශිර්වාද වේවා. ඉතින් මේ කාලේ පුරාම පින්කම් සංවිධානය කරගන්නවා. වෙහෙස මහන්සිය නොබලා ඒවලට සහ සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා. බොහොම උනන්දුවෙන් උවමනාවෙන් මේ අවස්ථාවන් වලට සම්බන්ධ වුණේ Tamanට ලැබිච්ච බොහෝම දුර්ලභ අවස්ථාවක් හැටියට සලකාගෙන ඒවා පිළිබඳව කල්පනා කරගෙන ඉතින් මේ පින්කම් වලට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ උනේ. අද දවසේත් ඒ විදිහේම හැඟීමක් ඇතුව මේ වලට උනන්දුවෙන් යුක්තව සම්බන්ධ වුණා. ඉතින් ඒ විදිහට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ලබාගත්ත මේ පින්කම් පුණ්‍ය ශක්තියන්ගේ බලයෙන් කරන කියන රැකියා ආදී කටයුතු හොඳින් කරගෙන ඒවායේ දියුණුව අභිවෘද්ධිය ලැබමින් දුවදරුවන් ආදී පෝෂණය කරගෙන, මව් දෙමව්පිය ආදීන් පෝෂණය කරගෙන සුවපත් වෙච්ච ලෞකික ජීවිත ගත කරන්නටත් ආශිර්වාද සැලසේවා. දරුවන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපන කටයුතු, රැකිරක්ෂා කටයුතු ආදී හොඳින් සිදු කරන්නට, ඒ වගේම මේ දවස්වල විභාගවලට මුහුණ දෙන්න සූදානම්ෙන් ඉන්න ළමයි ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් හැමදෙනාටම අධ්‍යාපන කටයුතු ආදී හොඳින් කරගන්නට, බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ජයග්‍රහණ ලබන්නට, විභාග සමත් වෙන්න, අනාගත ජීවිතයේ තියෙන ප්‍රාර්ථනා අරමුණු සාක්ෂාත් කරගන්නට, දරුවන්ට වාසනාවන්ත අනාගතයක් සලසා ගන්නට මේ පින්කම් වල ආශිර්වාදයේ හේතු වේවා, වාසනාව වේවා කියලා අපි ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. හැමදෙනාගේම සිත සතන් වල තියෙන යහපත් අරමුණු, බලාපොරොත්තු, ප්‍රාර්ථනා සඵලමත් කරගෙන මෙලෝ වශයෙන් වාසනාවන්ත ජීවිත ගත කර ගන්නට, සත්පුරුෂයන්ගේ, කල්යාණ මිත්‍රයන්ගේ ආශ්‍රය ජීවිතවලට ලැබමින්, ගුණ දහම්, පින් දහම් බහුලව ජීවිතවල හුරු පුරුදු කරගෙන, මේ පුණ්‍ය ශක්තියන්ගේ බලයෙන්ම සසර ගමනේදී සතර පායන් වලට නොවැටි, දුගතීන්ට නොවැටි, සුගති ආත්ම භාව ලබලා, දිව්‍ය මනුෂ්‍ය ආත්ම භාව ලබලා, ගුණ දහම් බහුලව හුරු පුරුදු කරගෙන, වැඩි දියුණු කරගෙන, බුදු පසේ බුදු මහරහත් උතුමන් වහන්සේලා විසින් සාන්තයි, සුන්දරයි, මංගලයි කියලා දේශනා කරපු, වර්ණනා කරපු ජාති ජරා ව්‍යාධි මරණ ආදී අනන්ත දුක් වලින් එතරව ලබන අති උතුම් සැනසීම, අමා මහ නිවනින් සුවපත් වීම පිණිසම ඔබ හැමදෙනාටම මේ පින්කම් හේතු වාසනා වේවා කියලා සාදු සිතින් පින් ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමු. ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ සෙත් ගාතාවකින් ආශිර්වාද කරන හැමදෙනාටම අභිවාදන සීලිස නිච්ඡං වද්ධාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩන්ති ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරාෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච අතෝ නිම්බාන සම්පatti මිනාතේ සමිඤ්ඤතු.